All right, so before it starts raining, I want to talk about two things while I warm up and get my general day workout done. And this is just to, make sure my body is still active. You know what I'm saying? But basically, there's two things. It's two things that you need to make the most progress when you're an athlete. It's two things: consistency and discipline. And without one or the other, it's gonna be a lot. You're gonna make a lot less progress. You're not gonna be able to do or get as much done. Because the more you do doesn't mean you're kind of exactly getting more done. In a sense, like it's more about kind of productivity and like what you're doing with your time. Is it worth it? And that's where discipline comes in. But then consistency, it takes discipline to be consistent as well. So that's why it can get a little bit confusing. But I want to talk about those two things because training I've been doing, I've been only able to make progress because of how consistent and how disciplined I have been with the training itself. And I haven't really, like if I was less disciplined, I would probably be half-assing the training, or I just wouldn't do it as much. I wouldn't be as consistent, but I can be more disciplined to be more consistent. But if I'm more consistent and I'm not doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing, I'm still doing it, but I'm not doing it to the point where it's going to bring me more um, kind of progress and just get more out of it, and I'll make more gains off of it. If I just go in there and just go through the motions, it's you're not gonna get as much. So let's talk about discipline first. Discipline is not what most people, I feel like, think it is because of how it's kind of used. It's just as simple as doing what's best now for the future you. That'll be better for the future. So we're sacrificing what's fun now or whatever is just more stimulating now that would not benefit as you as much in the future. So if you did what was better now, that would be better for the future. In the future, you would be thanking your past self. So that's kind of just basic definition of what discipline is. Um, and it's like, I'll give it an example for training. You go to the gym and you hit your workout, right? But you just go through the motions. So now that you only just went through the motions and you didn't progressively overload, or you didn't, really push yourself on the workouts, you didn't move the weight as fast as you could. You could have moved it a little faster. You could have done better. You could have added more weight. You could have, did more stuff, and that would have benefited you in the future. Because then in the future, when you do that more often, more so, because it's not just that one time that's going to affect you, it's the how much have you done overall. And that's why it's important to look at training like that. You can't be looking at training like, oh, what's the best workout, I'll do this and then I'll be able to jump high. It's like you got to do it all. You got to do all the different kinds of workouts, train the different qualities, train for a certain period of time with dedication and trust, or else it's not gonna really work out. You're just gonna go in there for a few weeks, do some box jumps, or do whatever. Just do your plyometrics, do some strength training, get some strong legs. But then it's like you don't see much progress. It's like, oh, what? I should see progress by now. No, you shouldn't. Because you didn't put in the work that you should have in the moment that would have benefited you later on. But anyways, that's more so what discipline would be, is just really actually doing the work properly. And it also takes learning to do it properly, because you gotta learn like kind of more about your body and like what kind of like hurts, or like what you shouldn't be doing or should be doing, or what you can or can't do. Whatever it is, that takes a learning process, but then it takes discipline to also learn, because learning takes effort. You gotta actually learn and imitate what you're seeing, so then you can actually make some progress and be able to do what these other people can do. In my sense, dunking the basketball, if I want to learn to do dunk, I have to be disciplined enough to try and learn it, which honestly, for something like that, if you actually like doing it, probably shouldn't take as much discipline, because as kids we love learning. Well, when we grew up until we go to school, and that's where it kind of gets all fucked. But yeah, it's like, as kids, we love kind of the games of learning because it's all a game, like when it comes to learning and doing all that. Oh shit. Doing all that, that's what's gonna really make you better is just learning. So there's that. Um, so yeah, discipline is actually one, having the consistency to do it all the time, and two, actually doing that. But the more volume you get, the better you'll get at it. So it's like the 10,000 hour rule. It's like you put 10,000 hours in something, you're gonna be good at it, unless if you're that bad at learning, which would actually not be a very good thing. Which sounds like it would be more on you, to be completely honest. So yeah, hopefully you're not one of those people, I guess. But yeah, and then consistency. Consistency is doing the work every single day, having it in mind every single day, knowing that there's something you need to do to work towards that goal every single day. Whether that's even just resting, like say if like you just take off today, you just have do some light movement, walk, maybe jog, do like very simple stuff, like stuff I'm doing right now. Like I'm doing just dynamic stretching, and I'm just gonna do some curls, some tricep stuff, some arm stuff. That's not gonna do much for my bounce, but it's mainly just to keep me active. And plus, like, bicep curls are fun. But yeah, so consistency is about doing the work every single day, or you know, consistency. Well, not every single day. Every single day would be considered consistent, but consistency can mean you do it 3 times a week all the time. So you always do it 3 times a week, or 4 times a week, or you always do it 5 times a week, or you always do it once a week. As long as you're consistent and you can actually do all of that, like once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, or every day, you can get that goal done because you're consistent with it. And if on those days you aren't wasting your ass and just go, like, especially if you're doing something once a week, which when it comes to working out or doing any kind of training, that's not how it's going to work. But there's probably different things like that. But you know, once a week, you gotta use that day to you gotta use that day well. You can't just use that day to just goof off. It's one day a week, so you gotta get some stuff done. You really gotta get some stuff done. But yeah, and those are two things you definitely need if you want to jump higher. Um, if you want to train to jump higher, if you want to train to be athletic, you need those things, because if you're just consistent and you don't have discipline, then your progress is going to be a lot more stagnant. It's going to take longer than it should have. But if you have discipline, but if you don't have enough consistency, well, technically you need discipline to be consistent. But if you don't have the consistency, then again, you're just not going to make as much progress. You're not going to get the work done, because at the end of the day, it is better to half-ass something than not do it at all. But if you're half-assing it all the time, then what's the fucking point of doing it? So yeah, just a couple things you need to have if you want to be athletic, if you want to be able to excel in an athletic career that has to do with specifically athleticism. Maybe you don't need to be athletic if you're a basketball player. Maybe you want to be like Luka Doncic and just have all the skill in the world while you're still, you can do all the cool stuff without having to go fast. But you know, this is for people who want to be athletic. This is what my channel is for, and I want to do my best to be able to help you guys to do it as well. Since there's a few things I didn't know that I wish I knew. So I'm just letting you guys know that now. All right, so we can continue talking while you watch me do some ab work. But yeah, so those are definitely a couple of things you need if you want to be consistent, disciplined, and you want to make good progress with your training. But it's hard to be that when it's something that you hate. It's starting to rain, whatever. We're outside. We're doing it. Oh, okay. But here, you know what? Let me take off these slides because these are definitely going to mess me up. But, anyways, you need some kind of passion for it. You know, passion can be very bland as advice, but passion, people get the wrong idea about it all the time, like I did. People think it's something that floats around, and you may not think that exactly, but you may think that, oh, if I can just find this one thing that seems interesting to me, I can be like, oh, I'm in love with this. Like, you think I saw dunking and I was immediately in love? No, it was kind of a process. It's like, okay, it sounds interesting. I used to like being athletic, or I used to like running a lot, sprinting a lot, and I would jump pretty high too. Quick story: there's this kid who was like 6'3" in my 8th grade class. I was like 5'3", and he would put his hand all the way up. I'd do a standing jump and give him an easy high five. So if you want to gauge how bouncy I was or how athletic I was as a kid when I didn't play any kind of sports whatsoever, you know, that's kind of how I was. But that's what was more fit for me. You know, it's not may not be fit for you, because you know I didn't play any sports growing up. So someone like me, it's like I, in a sense, got lucky, but I think of it more as like, okay, this fits. You know, it fits. And if there's something that you're doing and you feel like it really doesn't fit, and that emptiness that you have, that lack of fulfillment you have, if it doesn't fit, then you know, why are you doing it? And the reason usually is for some kind of external circumstance that you need to take care of, so then you can actually enjoy enjoy some things. But I might be doing this like ass right now. My back feels funny. I probably should do some McGills. But anyways, you need some kind of passion, something that you actually somewhat like, you know. And you got to build that over time. That was the point I was getting to. You got to build it over time. Again, it's not just gonna be floating around waiting for you to just catch it. You know, you actually have to put in the effort to find what is right for you, to really look back at what excited you as a kid and find that, go look for it. You know, no one's going to do that for you. No one's going to do that for you. So, yeah, no one. Like, no one's going to do that for you. Literally, like, if you really think about it, no one's going to find what you love to do for you. And nobody can, really. Because they're going to do some trial and error, be like, oh, what about this? You ever thought about this? What about this? It's like, you know, it'd be a lot easier if you could just look back at what you used to kind of do as a kid and just let that decide, kind of be like, or not let it decide, but use that to really figure it out. Because you always got to figure it out, you know? And it also does depend on your circumstances or whatever, but at the end of the day, we all have something that we got to deal with. So, since we all have something that we got to deal with, why let the circumstances affect you? You have to be the one to take that action, whether however stressful it has to be, however much you have to struggle, however much you have to go through. May not be as much for some people than others, but that's how it is. It's not fair. It's not supposed to be fair. But, you know, still gotta go through some type of struggle. So I'm definitely running out of time here. I need to get this stuff done. But message of this video, talked about consistency, talked about discipline, talked about passion, and talked about finding yourself and what is going to suit you to become something of this world, become something that is more attached to you than anything else. But message is just everything I said all in one. How can I say it? Kind of find yourself and look at things will come to you. Kind of humble yourself and find what is attached to you and what can give you that joy. So, anyways, hope what I said added some kind of value to your life. If it did, like the video, it'll let me know that you guys are enjoying it. And if you want to see more of my content, want to see my journey of dunking on 10 feet, or if you want to see tips on how to jump higher for dunking in your sport, I do have videos on that, so you can check out my channel. Check out more of that. See for yourself if it's worth watching. So, hope you enjoyed. I'll see you in the next one.